Hello, and welcome to the Block Solid podcast, where we talk about the evolution of the property market, the newest technologies that enhance and revolutionize the world of real estate as we know it, and how we, the owners, the buyers, the renters, the investors, and the entrepreneurs can benefit from it all. I'm Yael Tamar, co-CEO and co-founder of Solid Block, pioneer in real estate tokenization, and today I'd like to welcome a very special guest, Tony Ihander. Hi, Tony. How you doing?
Hi there. Very nice to see you, and bonjour from Monaco.
From Monaco. Very cool. Tony is a business genius who started his first company when he was just 16 years old, and he's from Finland. He also lived in 14 countries on 3 continents, and he's the mastermind behind industries like media, fashion, cosmetics, jewelry, and watches. And as of March 2017, he's also the advisor and business coach of Win Gravity. So Tony, I'm so thrilled to have you on the podcast because we had a few conversations, and every time we speak, there's something interesting that comes up. So I'm ready to pick your brain. Is that okay?
Yeah, very fine. It's awesome. It's great.
So first and foremost, you introduce yourself as the entrepreneur who comes from nowhere and knows nothing. Can you tell me more about that and what it means as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, because of my pronunciation of English, it's a combination of Austrian and Californian. That's why it's sounding like Arnold. Some people are asking that, you are from Norway? When I'm saying nowhere. It's meaning that I'm not any kind of patriot of any countries. I have paid my electric bill in so many different countries, and that's why I have learned that there is so many different ways to do the same thing. And also the other thing that I've learned that every people in this planet, we are similar, but we are still unique. So that's why I'm learning a lot from different people. And also when I'm starting many times the keynote speaking in the conferences, I'm saying that I really know nothing, because that's true. I'm always keeping myself in the business level, and I'm trusting the experts who knows better many things. And I have hired more than 450 experts in my life. So that has made also my life much more easier when I have trusted others.
I understand. That's actually a great business philosophy, right? Coming humble level of, I let other people who know more than me do the job, not assume that we know best than everybody else. That's actually, I have to say, it might be an Israeli trait that we tend to think that we know better than everybody else, which sometimes is good and other times is bad.
Yeah. Also, when we are very active in the investment world, there is so many people who knows everything about everything. Then you just need to be flexible. And then when you are finding the nice kind of level to speak and communicate, then you can make nice kind of business partners as friends.
I love that. I'd love to adopt that, actually.
Yeah, but I have learned also from the business and friends. It's much more easier to lose friends if you are starting the business with them. But it's better to make first the business, and from that you can make the new friends.
For sure. You know what? These are the people you do business with, are the people you spend so much time with, you better be friends.
Yeah, it is. That's why it's so important when you are selecting even your investors, that you can really synchronize with them in some similar levels. And when they are sharing the same values of life than yours.
Yeah, that's a very interesting advice too. And then looking back at our investors today, I'd say, the majority of them we hang out with and having fun with, and some we may not. And, to look at who's providing the most value, of course, those are who are your friends, because they want you to succeed, not only as somebody who put money in you, but also because they believe in you, they value you. They just want to, they just want their friend to succeed. Like I support my friends, in whichever way I can.
Yeah, it is. But of course, you need to put some borders in the friendship when you are talking about the business, because then it's too easy to make some conflicts with the business issues. I have 3 values of life. One of them, very well. One of them is to be lazy. But my highest one is to be fair. And that's the main reason that I'm keeping the business always fair, because if you are putting the money on the table and then you are starting to share that with all other ones who are sitting together with you in the table, and you can always say it's a universal kind of value that you can always say that, you made it fair way, the sharing. Everybody get exactly the fair share.
Absolutely. Otherwise, people are not going to be working, for you or with you with the highest level of motivation. So when
Mm-hmm.
negotiating, you want the other side also to feel like, yes, this is fair.
Yeah, and when you are selecting your colleagues and the workers, the motivation is so important right now. I have found such kind of skillful experts that are also very motivated to make the business with me. When you are not trying to make some very strict rules for them, if you are going to the room of the expert and then you are saying that, yeah, maybe you should put your iPhone like this, and then you are putting your fingers like this, then the motivation of the expert is gone. But if you are giving the freedom, you're saying that, yeah, our goal is there in the upper corner of the room. Then sometimes you are checking that, yeah, they are going there. Maybe they are using different directions, they are using different vehicles, different speed. But sometimes when you are checking, yeah, they are going, then they are using their brain power. And then there is not only one brains in the organization, yours.
Yeah.
Because you have hired smart people.
Use them. Use their brain power, right?
Yeah.
No, I love it. Talk to me more about being lazy and that philosophy.
Yeah, I have made even some leadership coaching workshops about the laziness as a superpower. And the main thought is when you are putting your feet on the table, then the next steps are going to the right direction. I'm believing that the lazy people, they will conquer the world because they are thinking more. And I can tell one of the examples from the time that I'm calling the era of laziness. It was in 18th century, in the end of that, 2785 or something, when the British Empire started to use the steam power in the factories. Like in the textile factories and other places, they were using steam. And it was meaning for the most lowest part of the organization, it was meaning the losing of the workplaces because the steam made so many things much more easier. And those most clever ones in the lowest part of organization, they were using the ladders to go up. And in every decade before that, the sons of the lords, when they came back from universities, they got automatically the manager level jobs from their factories of the family. But this time was different, first time in the history. The management level was full, even more smarter people from the down. What those sons of the lords, what they have done all their lifetime after that. If you are checking 65 years after that, until 1850 or something, you can find those sons of the lords. Of course, they came here in the French Riviera. They came to Rome, they came to Cairo, India, and some of them around of the globe. And of course, they used a lot of Syrian gin. But in that time, if you are comparing to our time, the internet age, they made even more new ideas, new innovations, new patents when you are comparing the population of the world, because they had plenty of time. And if you are taking such kind of great educated people, like they came just from the universities, and you are giving them lifetime to do something, that's how the patents and innovations born. And you know that when lazy people, they want to make the life much more easier for themselves.
Yeah.
And if they have documentation skills like those sons of the lords, they make patents.
I agree. I mean, I agree and I disagree. With the part that I agree with, and by the way, I did not understand that at all from our initial conversations for laziness, that what you mean is that, humanity's desire to do more with less time, or to not try so hard, not spend unnecessary effort, which you translate as laziness, and it's great. It's great for copyright for sure. That's definitely the reason why a lot of innovations were done. Like you can call somebody too lazy to walk, right? Obviously, there's no way you can walk from New York to California, although people did it right back in the day. You either ride a horse or you invent a car, right? Because also a horse is too slow or impractical for people.
So laziness has led us here in Zoom.
But I also think another thing plays a difference, and that would be time constraints, not having necessarily all the time in the world. Because if you had all the time in the world, then maybe the car wouldn't be invented, because you really have the time to walk from New York to California. For me, I think it's a combination of laziness and time constraints. But of course, laziness is a great word to use in terms of marketing and branding.
Yeah, I know. I'm marketing man from my soul. And of course, this corona epidemic has gave the possibilities for people to find their inner laziness.
Yeah.
So it has made some balance for many workaholic people. But,
sure.
but of course, some of the people has took too many different webinars and different calls per day. So it has not been so great for some of the part of the workers.
Absolutely. I think I possibly could have been one of them. I didn't slow down during Corona, but that's, because we had to have our startup survive. But you know what? I'm going to pledge this year, because of you, to be more lazy.
But you have made such kind of great job, and it's sounding such kind of great success already.
Yeah.
We have talked earlier about how to find a way to success, and I have made some of my conference speech about that, and also how to make the exits. I'm having bad reputation that I made very many fast exits in the 90s and 1,000 flights. Also the last successful IPO in Europe, but it was already 20 years ago. So my own marketing speech that I have now developed this laziness superpower in last 20 years when I just help others and not made any business for myself.
Interesting. That reminds me of the story of the 4-hour week. Do you know the book by Tim Ferriss?
Yeah.
So it can be 4 hours, even in his book, basically the philosophy is, spend 4 hours a week making money in total by kind of reorganizing your time, managing your time properly, and then do whatever you love. But even he could do that only after he had a year of grueling work, 100-hour weeks of building the business. Right?
Yeah. It is. But I'm not using that one because I have never made any workday in my life. Always survived by talking only. So I'm not having even those work hours, but I'm having my famous 3 hours of breakfast every morning.
Okay. What does that entail?
It started in the beginning of 2000s because I had plenty of time after the IPO. Then I have started my mornings to reading emails. And I'm making my continental breakfast with a lot of different menus in very, very slow motion feeling. I noticed that my brains has not awakened so fast. So in the very first hour of my breakfast, when I'm replying to messages, sometimes there is coming so many perhaps and maybe answers. So then you can't take me so seriously when you see that my messages are coming in from the morning. Yeah, but then I am finding my way to make the full business day. But of course, this year when I have needed to change the time zone so many times per day, it has been a little bit challenging to have the full 3 hours of breakfast.
All right. Yeah. That's, you're teaching me so much about just different ways to live, something to look forward to in 5 to 6 years when...
But I'm living in French Riviera, but I never learned this very late dinner eating. So that's why I have changed that to morning.
Okay. That's perfect. Much healthier.
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell me more about the business you started at 16 and what you learned and how you came to that.
I have started in a computer club already in 1977. After that, I made some of the coding and programming already. And then I found out that there is not so many accessories and the games and other software in the markets of Nordic. So I started my own import business when I was 16. And it was such kind of great possibility to make that without any competition. So I was the importer, I was the wholesaler, I was the buyer for 2 big chains of the boutiques. And then I even has been the journalist for making reviews of my own products. So it was very perfect. When I sold this, my first company, already 30 years ago, in the beginning of 91, my net profit was 78.5%.
Wow.
So I have known my numbers always.
That's awesome. And that's the key, right? Be lazy with everything except the numbers. Gotta get those numbers.
Main tool in the first business was telefax machine. Sometimes in the morning when I awaked, I had 30 meters of paper in the floor.
Orders, right? Order book?
They were sending me some warehouse status from Japan. China was not exist on that time. Then I made a lot of business with the country that is not exist anymore, West Germany, and UK and the US East Coast and US West Coast.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I needed to learn how to communicate when I was 16. Before that, I was the silent boy with the computer.
Yeah. Wow. They still use fax machines in the government offices here in Israel.
Yeah, because it's still one of the machines that can't hack.
Yeah. Well, not because of that. You'd be surprised, right? Not because of that, just because they're still outdated in some ways. So the younger, my kids and just young people that are coming out and need government services, they're like, what is that? Never heard of that before,
Yeah. Like young people right now, they never heard about any Facebook because the only old people are there.
Exactly. That's it. We're done. That's very inspiring, of course. I want to talk to you briefly about something that's close to my heart, and that's blockchain, and specifically blockchain for real estate. Is blockchain a product of this lazy inspiration at the end of the day? Smart contracts that enable us to do different tasks without having intermediaries and different steps. Just, if this, then that. Is that kind of fitting in your philosophy?
Yeah, it is. I have seen, because I've been in so many different kind of technical startups. Exactly, I have been CEO 10 times in my life and always in the different business. But I've seen the first cryptocurrencies in the late 90s. And then it was the first wave. Then the second wave was 2004, 2005. And now this the third wave of that Bitcoin started. It has been the longest one. And now I'm believing that, because it seems that it's going to be here with us when the very heavy and serious players just took that. As one of my business partners, PayPal, took that for their selection just 2 weeks ago, I think so. And I like the idea of the solid block of tokenizing the real estate, because it has been one of the fortresses that people has believed that there is no way to make any kind of new business. But I have said that always the Uber is coming outside from the business area. And I have used in many different cases, I have used the best practices from the other business. I have called them as a business components. In Swiss watchmakers, they said for me that you can learn this in 25 years. And then in the very next year, I made one of the biggest successes in the Swiss watch world when I used the best practices from the Revlon cosmetics.
Yeah, that's cool. So how can we use this trend? Crypto is, in one way, is of course a revolutionary technology that will change the way we operate. We change the way we do transactions and do personal finance. You can be your own bank. You can be your own investment bank with Solid Block. So how is this going to change? How can this make us more lazy? Like, how is it going to enable us to innovate?
I like the way how it making automation for many things that has needed some manual work. When I'm visiting in my bank in France, I can still see the 10,000 workers with their papers, and they are looking so important people when they are having many papers in hands. And I know that will change. I have been using the e-banking since 1988. 34 years. And I was the model boy in the advertising of my own bank. This young entrepreneur here, he's making all the accounting and paying his bill from the home office. 88. Yeah, that's a long time ago, but still some countries are not so evolved.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk a little bit about your coaching and advisory. You've done with Wind Gravity and otherwise, I guess, you've done advising for over 100 companies in 4 continents, right? How do you find the time, frankly? And what is your specialty for advisory?
Yeah, like the person's unique and different. Also, the companies are very different and their needs has been different. Coaching has been the learning process also for me, because I really love my own voice. About a dozen years ago, I made the Californian School of Coaching in Berkeley, and I learned how to make the questions. It was something new for me. Then they put my forehead of the title of the senior business coach. I don't understand what is the senior there. But anyway, I learned that, I can use these same questions that I made for the board of directors. I can use them in the personal level. They are working as well than in the company. And then I have made a lot of coaching, including with these investments and fundraising for the different directors and leaders and startup founders for themselves. Because I have seen that the people, they are the whole humans. If they are having some part of their life that it's not working, maybe some family life or something is making some worries, it's affecting also the business life. So I have not concentrated to only the business life. I have made the coaching for the whole situation.
They call it holistic. That's the new popular new age word, right?
Yeah. But I have made the real kind of traditional coaching for the board of directors, and some of them has been the big brands like Armani accessories and some gold and jewelry companies and different kind of database companies like the biggest travel industry leader in the databases. And yeah, so it's a nice way also to learning for me when I'm meeting the new people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the fact that you said it, because a lot of people are kind of shying away from saying it. In the life of an entrepreneur, when you have some personal problems, health, family, divorce, it always affects you. Even having a new baby, it affects you, sometimes positively, sometimes negatively. So it all depends on the situation, on the person, and anything could be overcome as long as we don't ignore the problem, right?
Yeah, because it takes energy. And many of the young entrepreneurs, they are trying to make so many businesses in the same time. They can have maybe 4 different startups companies in the same time. And then they are saying for me that, they are sharing their timetable like this, that they are using half day every week for this company, 1.5 day for this company, 2 days for this one, and then they are having administrative day on Friday. And then I'm asking that, but do you have always, for every week, do you have the same energy level? And they said, of course not. And then I have said that maybe because I have found out that if I'm concentrating the energy for one of my goals, I'm getting much more better results from that.
Absolutely.
And then I'm taking the next priorities. So, and even 2 of them has listened and they have got the results.
That's awesome. I wish I had you in my life, 10 years ago. I had several startups and I was always trying to bootstrap, have a job or consulting on the side, because you have to survive. As a young person, you're living kind of, month to month. So it's difficult to allocate your full time. But only when I allocated my full time to Solid Block, that's when the results started pouring in. And you see it because you're not only giving your time, you're also giving your full attention. Another thing I noticed is only when I started meditating, I started, either it was truly believing in your abilities or the universe really listens through you because you're more concentrated, you're more focused, and you see the path and you know how to get there. Instead of kind of having all these phone calls and conferences, like you said, like panels and all that stuff, like occupying your time, really sift through all the unimportant things. And for me, I think it was meditation. For other people, it may be, eating 3 hours breakfast.
Yeah. But it's maybe much more easier for you than for me because you know that the men are much more simple. When a man is driving a car, he cannot change the radio station in the same time. And that's why if you want to have a great beef, you are putting the man in the kitchen because he can concentrate to one thing.
Yeah.
But he can't multitasking at the kitchen.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've seen, although I'm sure there's some good lot of great multitasking men out there. Yeah. Awesome. So you told me that you're expecting to have more IPOs in your near future. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I'm having my second IPO this spring. It's coming from the Baltics and going to Nasdaq First North in Copenhagen. But this time I don't have so many responsibilities than in my first one. I had the responsibility of the full IPO roadshow and the marketing for the whole corporation.
Oh, wow.
But it was fine experience. I have not collected any paper folder since 2000. So I'm having paperless office. But now when I made some changing in my basement, I found 2 folders from the 90s. One paper folder was that I have been in the workshop that's telling how to make the perfect business plan. I have saved that one. And the other one...
You make a perfect business plan. You take a napkin and a pen.
Yeah. But the second one was my IPO folder and having all the different kind of management plans and other stuff because you need to control about 100 people, and we had 27 country managers who needed to be on the roadshow on that time.
Yeah. Wow, that's impressive. Can you talk a bit about this one? What is the company? What does it do?
It's an accelerator company, Baltic Tech Ventures from Riga, Latvia. And they have conquered very well the Baltic states. And now they are using the IPO money for going. And they are having one investors also from Tel Aviv.
Ah, cool. Well, I'm flying hopefully to Copenhagen in August.
Yeah. I like the city because it has the most longest shopping street in the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You can easily count how long the shopping street is because if you're counting the amount of the different McDonald's.
Well, I've been there for an interview with Maersk, like, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. I'm sure it's changed.
But there is some kind of places that are never changing, like Ilium, and you are going to the penthouse of Ilium and ordering smørrebrød and some local strong alcohol. That's the spirit of the Copenhagen.
For sure. We'll have to get together there. I mean, going with my running group, I'm a part of a LGBTQ and friends running group, and there's something that's called Gay Games in Copenhagen. So that's where we're going.
Okay. Yeah.
So it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
I have been so loyal in my running shoes with the Nike when they started the cooperation with Apple 2007. But now, first time in the history, I bought some Pumas.
Oh, wow. Yeah. How did Nike react to that?
I don't know. They just came from the Puma web store. Because Puma is making cooperation together with my other favorite brand, BMW. So they have the BMW logo in those Puma shoes.
Wow.
I have been 3 years in art school, so I like visual things.
Yeah, understood. So tell me about your inspiration and role models, if you have any.
Yeah, one of them has been, I made a business with the heavy UK house in the video gaming, and they started from the music. And this brand owner wanted to see me in London, that who is this young guy from Finland that is making so heavy business with us in 4 countries. And he was Richard Branson.
Wow, I love him.
Yeah, but he gave me coaching in our 3 first meetings. And I don't remember exactly about his words about coaching, but he showed me some new doors and he opened them for me. And that has been like, he said that, we have made nice things together and maybe you can help also these guys. So this has been like a red line in my whole business story when I have used those old guys to open doors for me. And then I have opened the doors for others. So in the most oldest science park here in Sophia Antipolis in France, I have made a speech for the young entrepreneurs, the full auditorium. And I have said for them that never listen to those old men, because the Europe is not having any innovations and not any patents. It's a black hole of the new ideas because everybody are still listening old men.
Wow.
And use those old men only for opening the doors for you because they know some other old men.
I love that.
Yeah, because in the very far east and very far west, they are not listening old men.
Interesting.
Old men are just giving the money and they are making the success with the money. And that has been the case. I made a conversation in LinkedIn about that. And one patriot from Finland, of course, he tried to remind me that, when I was using the Apple as an example, that these 2 Steves made that by their own, 2 young guys. Then this patriot said that, but this Markku from Finland was the first advisor and the first investor for them. And I said that, look from the Wikipedia, because he has been also less than 30s on that time. So they didn't listen any old men. And
you know what? I mean, I would be a little self-conscious to totally agree with that, although I know what you're saying, especially because I have 2 young kids and they don't listen to anything I say. So every time I keep saying to myself, they're going to make great entrepreneurs. So that's my only consolation, And I'm like, okay, don't listen. And also I'm trying to teach them not to put 100% faith in any adult, even if it's a teacher or somebody in a position of authority, and always question, because sometimes older people or, people in a position of authority teach you the wrong things.
Yeah, and they are having their own motives to do that. And they have seen the life. I have said many times that I'm eternal 26 years old, because that's the perfect age. My friends are not believing anymore that I'm 25, so I upgraded 1 year more. But it's a perfect age when everything is still black and white. There is no 50 shades of gray.
Yeah.
And it's also the age that you know that where you are coming, where you are right now, and where you are going.
Yeah.
Everything is very clear and clean. But after that, there is coming too many options in life.
For sure.
Yeah. Many of those great successful leaders, they have kept their 25 or 26 age all the time. And you know that many men, they are never adults.
Yeah, I'll let you be the judge of that and remain impartial on the subject. But Tony, it was such a pleasure having you on my podcast. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
As usual. So you can find this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or by visiting our website at solidblog.co/podcast. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to rate, review, and spread the word. Thank you, Tony. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Thank you. Yeah, success. Thanks.